Hi everyone, welcome to another Journalist Toolbox training. I'm Mike Reilley, the founder and editor of the Journalist Toolbox. And today we're going to work with Datawrapper maps, datawrapper.de, one of my favorite tools. Really easy to build Choropleth maps and also 3D locator maps in Datawrapper. So if you want, hit pause right now. And if you don't have a Datawrapper account, you can set one up for free at datawrapper.de. All right, welcome back. We're going to explore the Choropleth maps and 3D maps in Datawrapper in just a minute. I wanted to remind you that journalisttoolbox.org, our website, has many mapping resources and data visualization resources. This is our newly redesigned website. You can go into data journalism. It's always here on the home page typically. You'll see it sometimes over here on the right under recent updates, or you can select it from our pull-down menu here on the right-hand side. And once you open up data journalism, there is a subtopic in there, a category called mapping and geocoding. And if you open that page up, we also have charts and infographics, data scraping, all kinds of different topics in here. You will find all types of mapping tools on here, including Google Flourish, Datawrapper, StoryMap, Cardo, some of the usual suspects, but many, many other tools, as well as many other training videos, including this one you'll find up there as well. Those are some of the mapping tools you'll find on Journalist Toolbox. Let's explore one of them right now with datawrapper.de. So if you've set up your free account there, you can click on Dashboard. Once you've set up, to set one up, you just hit Start Creating here. The free setup works just fine. I'll show you some of the pricing models here in a little bit. But the free model works just fine. When you open it up, you'll see some of the maps that you've created before and charts and things like that. You can double click on them and open them, edit them, and then you can republish them, and they'll auto-update wherever you've embedded them. So if you made a mistake on your map or something like that, you can go back and change it and tweak it. My charts over here on the right lists all of your most recent charts. Right here where it says river shows all kinds of other maps and charts that other people have built. It's a good place to go and kind of look for story ideas and map and graphic ideas. You can see there's some terrific ones up here, especially with election and COVID-19 and all that. A lot of great examples there. And up here at the top are the main tools you have. You can set up your data as a table, just a grid. You can set it up as a chart, or you can map it. So when you select new map, it gives you choices of 3 different types of maps. Choropleth, if you're using shaded areas to show something like counties in a state or states in a country or something like that. If you want to use a symbol map, maybe you're showing nationwide outbreaks of COVID, and you want to show a big symbol here, a big outbreak in New York, big one in Chicago, Detroit, and so on. You can use a symbol map. Or you can use a 3D locator map, which I'll show you how to create in just a minute. But we're going to start with a Choropleth map. I'm going to open that up. And this is really nice for those of you that teach, to get students thinking about a basic data set in mapping it. You don't have to know a lot of JavaScript, or you don't have to import a lot of shape files, things like that. You can upload a shape file. And maybe you have all of the congressional districts in Illinois and you want to upload them. But the cool thing about Datawrapper is it has many of those already built into it, both at the country level and then even down to the state level. So I can type in the word Illinois in the search bar up here, and it gives me choices. I can do something by Illinois zip code, census tracts, this being a census year in 2020, counties, district courts, congressional districts it does have in here, legislative districts, northern district, southern district. And go in here and select counties. So we're going to show data by county. There's a shape of all the Illinois counties that pops up there. And when you see that, just click Next. Now, Datawrapper gives you the choice of uploading your data a few different ways. One is I can just type in the value right next to the name of each county. If I wanted to do that, I could. It is somewhat time consuming. Or I can import my data set. Always make sure if your data set has just a county name in it that you want the geocoding to be by name. You can also set it up to fit postal codes if you're working with zip codes, things like that. But almost always it'll be by name. And it's designed to be able to flag down that name in the column. It doesn't even have to be labeled up here. It just knows to go and look for a name. And then import your data set is what you want to select. And what I'm going to do is bring in a spreadsheet of confirmed Illinois COVID-19 cases by county in Illinois. This is all of the confirmed cases in the first 2 months of the outbreak. So it's everything through, I think, April 27th. So hit import your data set. And again, I'm going to make this data set available to you. There'll be a link in the description area on our video here where you can download this data set. So Datawrapper can automatically import your data set, name or postal code. And here it gives you the option you can cut and paste your data directly into it. You can try that. I've had hit and miss luck with that before. It can garble it sometimes. I like bringing the whole data set in one spreadsheet. It'll take CSV files, comma-separated values, and they do that because of things like addresses, things like that. So it has to be .csv file, which my spreadsheet out here is .csv. I'm going to select that. I'm going to go pick my data set sitting out here on the desktop. It's a CSV file. I'm going to import it. Now, it's already done a pretty good job of matching my columns. It's pretty good at guessing that. Please select which column in your data set contains names. And I've got county, and there's a county name. Now, I can always switch it if the name happened to be over here. I could switch it. First row is caption, should always be selected because your first row is always the header of each column. You don't want to have it start with just data. So hit next. It does have some unassigned county cases in this data set. That means the Illinois Department of Public Health, which compiled this, had 338 positive tests that were not assigned to any county. So, there's some incomplete data in here. You need to acknowledge that in your chart, and I'll show you how in just a minute. You can do it a couple of different ways. Okay, so go ahead and hit next. Hit OK, continue, and there's your data set. And it's asking you, now it wants to match the data set values, and that would be your positive cases. Those are the numbers. And you would hit next. And it says, congratulations. Then you can go into this next section, which is visualize. It chooses like a little default here, add your legend in. Obviously the darker colors here are the most cases. The lighter colors are fewer cases. That's the disparity in the year. Most of this is up in Chicago and Cook County and some of the surrounding counties. Downstate, there's not many. Some of these don't even report. Anything in gray means the county didn't report. And then click on Visualize. You might have noticed when you roll over the map, data doesn't pop up. Like the name of the county doesn't pop up. You're like, what's the deal here? You can adjust that really easily over here on the left-hand toolbar over here. You've got 3 categories: refine, annotate, and design. And you have to complete all 3 to have your graphic complete. The first one under refine is your different color panels. And you can go through here and you can just try some out. This one doesn't work too well because the dark brown, kind of is misleading because these counties have very low numbers, like 1 or 2. It's a little misleading. Be careful too with using, bright red, scary colors. Sometimes with maps, it can be a little intimidating. Make map zoomable, which is always a good one. You can hide regions without data on here as well. The key thing you want to fill out in here is make sure that you have your tooltips set up. Tooltips create the little rollover, and you'll see the county name and the data next to it. So hit Customize Tooltips, and then title it Positive Cases. And then in the body, I want to put county. Body, and then hit county. I'll put colon after it. I could put a dash or something as well. A space, and then positive cases. And hit save. Map labels. I always want to have the map labeled by county. And now when I hover over it, now my positive cases pop up, and I have my county name. I can also put county name in the title up there, which I was actually about to do. So instead of positive cases, I could have it be the name of the county. and then have this read positive cases. Hit save. And now it appears that way. So really, you can do it either way. It works fine. I happen to like this one a little better, and it makes the name of the county pop. And your data, you can boldface it. You can put some HTML in there and boldface it, things like that. It does have some other settings down here for a map key. You can get rid of your map key if you don't want the legend to appear down here or anything like that. But by and large, we're ready to go here. If you had multiple columns to your data, maybe you wanted to switch type of data set, you could do that. I'm going to annotate it and add my headline, description, credit where the data came from, and then put my name as a byline at the bottom as well. You always want to do that. This came from the Illinois Department of Public Health, so I'm going to put that in here where it says data source. And I've got a link over here where that data set came from. This is in the description for this video, so if you want all this language to build your own, you can. You can also download this data set using that link. You can do it for that date or other dates. And then I just start writing my headline and things like that I've already written here, and my description. You can also type it up here. You can double click on here and type in. My description here is incomplete. I would also say in here, I could do this as a notation at the bottom where I could add it to the description, but I would say that 338 positive cases have not yet been assigned to a county. Very important to include things like that because people will look at this and think, oh, this is complete. And, really with COVID data especially, run into this sometimes too with election data. The data set you're sharing is incomplete or it's constantly changing. In this case, we want to be able to tell them that this data set has a lot of cases in it. The tens of thousands of cases listed here. But we are missing a few as the record keeping wasn't all that great. I can also highlight elements. You don't really do that for a map, but if you're a bar chart, you wanted to highlight one county, which kind of already has been done because there's such a high concentration of cases in Cook County, and low concentration of cases in other counties, that we've really got such a broad disparity that's really taking care of that highlighting for us. It gives us several different design options here. The default with data works really well. Classic Datawrapper template 2012 works well. The embeddable kind, where if you want to give people the option to embed the data, embed the page as well, that's fine. It gives a little embed button here, as well as a link to Datawrapper, link to your data set. It's a nice little feature to add. I always enable social sharing. Say that 3 times fast. The social sharing button, when you embed it, will allow people to share it straight to Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. It's a nice little feature to add. It is multilingual, so you can add multiple languages here. Something to think about as you may be building for other countries. Hit the publish button. And it gives me the option to download it as a PNG file. This doesn't work too well for reproductive purposes if you're putting it in print. It's okay. There is a paid version of Datawrapper, which I'll try and show you that tab in a little bit, where you can get a high-res version of this map. But really, you're looking at this more as an interactive chart anyway, because you can't really see the data in here. Hit Publish Chart, and it will give you a link to the full screen link to the graphic. Embed code, you can do a responsive iframe, which is what I encourage because it'll resize the map to fit any size browser window, whether it's on a horizontal laptop, desktop, or vertical phone. And you just copy that embed code, or you can click on the link here and access the link. So there you go. You've got a nice little Choropleth chart. Pricing on Datawrapper is right here at the top. The free version has a lot of the features really you need to complete these type of maps. The custom is a little more expensive, $599 US a month, a little more than I have on my hand. It allows you to do different types of themes beyond what they have. It'll pull the Datawrapper attribution off. You can add your own attribution. Ping, PDF exports, and print-ready graphics as well, which is nice. And while this is steep, it's something to think about if you think you're going to be using this graphics tool quite a bit. So let's show you another type of map you can play with, and this is what's called a locator map. So if you click on New Map here, and I'll click on Locator Map, and these are real popular, 3D locator maps. You see them a lot in print and in online. And when you get there, it looks like just a regular Google map or something like that. It allows you to add a marker here, and it always starts with a marker. And you can add more than one, but we'll just start with one to start with. And me being from Chicago, I will type in Willis Tower. Nobody here calls it the Willis Tower. We all call it the Sears Tower still. But the Willis Tower, one of the taller buildings in the U.S. and in the world, and it will zoom in. It gives you options over here to adjust the color and shape of your pinpoint. You can make some adjustments to the text as well. Let me make this one red. A lot of colors to choose from. It gives you a great color panel. Many different symbols you can use, like maybe you're using this for a hurricane safety map. You can add rain, lightning, transportation graphics, things like that. It can be really good for wildfire maps as well. LA, some urban areas have, a lot of wildfire issues. Northern California had that as well not too long ago. So, you can make it a circle, square, whatever you want. So now you've got, your basic map here, but still nothing too exciting. Down here at the bottom, it's got a lot of tools that allow you to zoom in and also to rotate. Let's say I wanted to rotate my downtown a little bit there. Show part of the lake. There's Lakeshore Drive in Lake Michigan. You can adjust the aspect ratio. You can slide it up, slide it down a little bit. Tilt is a key one because tilting it will give you a little bit more of a landscape image. And I'm going to stop right about there. You can see Navy Pier right there. And this is a nice shot of downtown. And it's still just a flat map. I want it to be a 3D map, where the 3D buildings are popping up out of the ground. That's done at the next step. You do the basic setup here, and then you click on Design Map here at the top. All 4 steps. It walks you right through it, same as we did with the last map. And here's where it gets really interesting. We can select a different map background. It's got a grayscale, maritime, if you were doing something along a coastline, earth or light, maybe if you're doing more of a political map or something. And I'll select earth. In 3D buildings, I'll check it, but it's got a little star next to it. Zoom in to see these features. So I have to zoom in a little bit more. And now you see the buildings pull up. And you can start to rotate it. And if I wanted it to look a little differently, see more of downtown and the river. I can slide it around on there too. Just hold down on your cursor, and you can slide it around. And there's the Willis Tower in all its glory. I always do a little scale bar, and I do it in miles, U.S. distance, 500 feet, since this is zoomed in pretty far. You can add things like a north arrow. I always do a little inset map, and instead of a globe, I'm going to select a region. I'll make it Illinois to show where Chicago appears in Illinois. It shows up in the lower right. You can shrink the size of it too. You can actually move it though. I'm going to put it in the top right just for kicks. It's kind of up out of the way there. And again, you can adjust the size. You can shrink it down pretty small, but I'll make mine big enough that people can actually see it. You can add your headline up here. You can also do it under annotate. A little easier here. Always want to add a description, your credit. You also can link off to a data source. Maybe you've brought something in and layered something in, which you can do back at the design level here. You can bring in different shape files, things like that. If you wanted to show maybe the Chicago Marathon route as it goes through the city, you can upload those shape files and layer them in there. It's anything like a KML file or a KMZ file, something like that. You can add notations at the bottom, but all the basics are here. A little description, little headline on it. And then you're ready to publish, and you just go to the next step, publish chart. You can take and embed this, and people can rotate it and spin around and have a nice looking 3D map into your page. And I had some students that did a really effective job with this. They were looking at if south side of Chicago would have had the University of Chicago Medical Center, how close is that to an area where a young man had died a few years ago. He was a gunshot wound victim, and he was taken from the south side of Chicago to Northwestern Memorial in downtown Chicago. It's like a 10-mile trip, and he died in the ambulance. They showed with these little locator pins that had his chance of survival, he would have been able to get to the U of C Medical Center in just a couple of minutes by ambulance, that his chances of survival went up above 90% instead of him dying in an ambulance. They call it the golden hour. It's a term from the Vietnam War, that if you're wounded and are treated within the first 45 minutes to an hour, your chances of living would be great, very great. So they did a really nice job of just using 3 little pinpoints, which would look ridiculous on a Google map, but looked really good here because they were able to focus on one little area and show just how far apart they were and had the scale like this. So that's where a locator map comes in really handy. Maybe you've got a downtown development project or something like that, and a tool like this would come in really handy. If you do make changes to the map, just hit republish chart. It'll republish in about 3 to 4 minutes to wherever you had the chart or the map located. So Datawrapper.de, great for chloropleth maps and 3D locator maps. Do check out journalisttoolbox.org and also look in the description for this training video. It will have this headline description, the data source. I'll also put up a little link to the spreadsheet for the chloropleth map so you can pull that as well. That's all we had for now. Take care and join us again for some more mapping videos.